What's good, peoples? Happy eclipse season. I hope it's a happy one. Eclipses could be like quite intense and bring some crazy events, but I hope it's a good eclipse season. So we have an eclipse coming up in the sign of Libra. It's going to be happening on March 25th of 2024. This is nothing new. We have eclipses that happen in signs. They happen on the same axis once every like 8 to 9 years. They come back around to be like, hi Amanda. They come back around to be exactly like on the same axis as far as the north and south nodes once every 18 to 20 years. So it's nothing new, but the eclipse that's coming up very shortly is in Libra. And Libra is a sign, of course, we think of the scales, we think of balance and everything. Libra is an interesting energy because although it's a masculine sign, all the signs have an element that they belong to. So it's either water, earth, air, fire. There's also the modalities like either fixed or cardinal or mutable, whatever. But then there's also masculine and feminine. So air sign, all the air signs, air energy is masculine, fire energy is masculine, and then earth and water are feminine. So Libra is an air sign, which makes it masculine, but each sign has a ruling planet, and that planet has its energy as well. So Libra is ruled by Venus, which is the ruler of femininity. So it's a masculine air sign, but it's ruled by a feminine planet. So that's why a lot of Libra males, they're like labeled, I don't know if they still use this term, but they used to say metro. They're very metrosexual. Like Libra men, a lot of them, they groom themselves more than other signs. Like they go to get their eyebrows done, especially because the sign of Libra rules the eyebrows. So they'll do stuff like that. They'll go get the pedicures and the manicures. So Libra energy will do that even in males, men who are born men. So when we have the combination of masculine and feminine together like that, that's why Libra, the seventh sign, it rules the seventh house of partnerships, of balance and everything. That's why Libra is about balancing the scales. And that's why Libra energy can see two different sides. Libra is masculine and feminine. That's both elements, both the energies that we're made of as humans. So that's why it is the way that it is. So what's interesting is I'm sure a lot of you see and hear and read, especially online, all the discussions that we have nowadays about masculinity and femininity, right? They're like really heavy in the news and the headlines and online, social media, where everybody gets their news now more than other outlets. Humans talk amongst themselves online a lot. And and it's like when you talk to people in person, they can just talk and it disappears, you forget. But when it's online, it's there. You can go back and read it again and again. You can screenshot it. If it's a video, you can screen record. You know what I'm saying? So like words really stick with us and we analyze them a lot more now. So there's a lot of talk now, mostly a lot of shit talking about men's roles and women's roles. This eclipse is really bringing up a lot of that, at least for me personally, with what I observe amongst the humans and what they're doing. Sometimes I count myself as one, but a lot of times I don't know, I have to question what species I really belong to, because some of the humans, I'm like, what in the actual... Anyway, so this eclipse in Libra has me really thinking about all of this and reading a lot more online. These discussions are coming up a lot. So what are men's roles? What are women's roles? What is considered masculine? What's considered feminine? So here's something that's interesting. If anyone doesn't know, of course, you can ask I teach astrology as well as come on here and talk, and I also do personal consultations. But what's interesting is Pluto is, yes, it's considered a planet in astrology. Whenever Pluto is in an air sign, Pluto only goes into a sign once every like 200 and something years. So it's, if you get to experience a Pluto in a sign generation, which usually lasts roughly around 20 years, that's a once in a lifetime experience. You're not going to experience that again. So whenever Pluto is in an air sign, we question what are masculine and feminine roles really, and they're challenged. When we had Pluto in Gemini, that was at the turn of the 20th century. So in the early 1900s, Pluto was in Gemini. If you notice, that's when women, they cut their hair short. We had the flappers, right? They cut their hair short. When traditionally, to be feminine, to be considered feminine, your hair has to be long, right? So women were challenging all of that. Yeah, we're going to go out and do hotings. We're going to smoke cigarettes. We're going to actually get out and go out to jazz clubs. We're going to go dance and do all this Jezebel stuff, right? That was that Pluto in Gemini era. Yeah, cutting your hair short. The fashions that women wore were like, they wore, it was like trying to be genderless. It was more like boxy looking instead of form-fitting to where you could see their feminine curves and what makes them a woman biologically. No, it was just like neutral, like a very gender-neutral type of an energy. There was also a lot more of homosexuality, like lesbianism, gay, and all of that, that was more out than previous times during Pluto and Gemini era in the early 1900s. And people were experimenting with gender roles, right? And challenging them. So the air signs, Pluto and the air signs will do that. The last time we had Pluto in an air sign, previous to right now, it's in Aquarius, it was Pluto in Libra. So that was during the 1970s up until the mid-1980s, the early 1980s, like 1983 is when it left Libra and went into Scorpio. That generation, that time, it changed so much between men and women with the ideals of marriage, commitment, relationships in general. They were all challenged. With the family unit, that was challenged because the family unit is ruled by Cancer. Pluto was in Cancer in the early 1900s as well. And that's when everyone, at least I can only speak for the US and the Western world and the United States, we had the American dream. And a lot of people that were born in that era, and then they came up more in the age of television and they were, you know, acting and all of that stuff. We saw that, like, we saw the result of Pluto in Cancer, like in the 1950s and stuff. That's why when we think of traditional housewives and the man goes to work and comes home, hi honey, I'm home, you know, I'm here. And she's like in an apron, oh honey, I've been cleaning and vacuuming and baking and cooking all day and shit like that, right? They were more than likely born or raised when Pluto was in Cancer, and then coming up, you know, and displaying that Pluto in Cancer obsession, because Pluto shows what we're obsessed with as a collective. We were obsessed during that time with Cancerian themes, which is family, and, you know, traditional mother roles and wife roles and all of that. We saw a lot of that pushed, you know, during that time. And then the people that were born with that placement in their chart, when they grew up and were running the adult world, they were displaying their values based on their Pluto sign in Cancer. So Cancer is a cardinal sign, so is Libra. So during the Pluto and Libra generation, the 70s to the early 80s, it made a square, which is a challenging aspect to the Pluto and Cancer generation. What the Pluto and Cancer generation made it still okay to stay with your husband, even if he was beating the shit out of you, because he was the man and you had no way of getting your own resources in earlier times as a woman. And your only way of having resources was through a man. Well, Pluto and Libra generation and era really challenged that. And that's why during that time, like in the 70s, not only was Pluto in Libra, but also Neptune was in Sagittarius. Those are very loose signs, and I don't care if people get offended. I'm speaking energies and all this stuff. If you get offended, I don't fucking care, really. But it's very like loose compared to, it's not as uptight about traditions, pretty much. In some ways, when it comes to like dating and romance and all of that, Libra is a sign of marriage traditionally. But if you know Libra people, a lot of them, even if they get married, they still look around. You know what I'm saying? Their eyes don't stay put on that one person. They may have a bunch of back burner people in their phone or on their social media that they know if that marriage doesn't work out, if that relationship doesn't work out, they have a few ninjas lined up, okay, hanging out in the background. So Libra, you know, and Sag during the 1970s, those energies were very present through Pluto and Neptune. So that's when women were like burning their bras. And I wasn't alive in the 70s. I'm going based on like what I've studied, what I've observed. And so if anybody was around during that time and can elaborate further on like the experience of being within that energy of that era, please let us know. But it challenged, my point is it challenged the values of family. Like, why do we have to have man and woman and child? Why can't we women just do it on our own because we don't want to accept abuse from men anymore? We can get out and get jobs now. We can get credit cards now, which is still very recent in history, that women could even get a credit card in their name without having a husband. There's a lot of challenges to the other outer planet generations that came with Pluto and Libra. And so Pluto and Libra, Pluto destroys. Pluto can destroy. So it destroyed a lot of the old marriage principles and relationship principles. If you know anything about the 70s, you know, like I said, it was loose, wild, free. They had, you know, that's why AIDS and HIV popped up during Pluto and Scorpio generation in the 80s really heavily, because it's as a result of the 70s when people were just like, not really, they were experimenting with all these different people and stuff. It wasn't really so much about monogamy. So, you know what I'm saying? That was when we had Pluto in an air sign the last time. There was some things that came out about gender equality and I don't need a man. And those born in the Pluto and Libra generation coming up in the 90s, being adults in the 90s and in the early 2000s, once again, they really challenged things. But that's when we started having more teen pregnancy, more single parenthood, more children that were a result of divorced parents or single parents or affairs. That's always been happening. It's just now it's more publicized. But there was an increase in things like that with the Pluto and Libra generation, those born within that generation, and as being a result of it. So that was Pluto and air signs. So there's all these songs, I don't need a man, I'm independent woman and all that. Destiny's Child, all of the members of Destiny's Child, they were born in the Pluto and Libra generation. Okay? Didn't the Pussycat Dolls also have a song, I don't need a man, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorites of theirs, so I just know the title. They have a song, don't they? Girls, guys, whoever, let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Pussycat Dolls had a song, I don't need a man. So I'm pretty sure the Pussycat Dolls were all born in the Pluto and Libra generation. If not born within the generation, they came up within that generation. They were alive during that time to see the result of it, which challenged relationships and marriage. So now we are leaving Pluto and Capricorn, right? Pluto and Capricorn's about tradition and the old school and history and the tried and true. Capricorn rules age. Capricorn energy could be very ageist and always use the term age appropriate for everything, right? But it's it's the traditional masculine parental figure role is ruled by Capricorn. So Pluto and Capricorn, we're leaving that. We're dipping in and out. You know what I mean? We're dipping in and out of Pluto and Capricorn this year for the last time that any of us will see ever, right? So Pluto in Aquarius is once again challenging gender roles, traditional gender roles, traditional relationship roles. So Aquarius is very interesting. How long, hey, what's it good to be? How long is the transit? Which one? Pluto and Aquarius? Pluto and Aquarius is for 20 years. So I think it leaves in 2033 offhand. I think it's 2033 that it leaves Aquarius and goes into Pisces. Oh my gosh, that's going to be an interesting time that we'll have to definitely talk about another time. Pluto in Capricorn is done after 2024. So anyway, Aquarius challenges gender roles. It challenges traditional relationships as well. Anyone that you know who is down with poly this, poly that, multi this and that, and is like, no kids, I don't think I want to get married, they're detached from all of that stuff, Aquarius. Aquarius rules all of that. Okay, and also when people have kinks and fetishes and stuff like that, that is Aquarius all day. So Pluto shows what we are currently obsessed with as a collective, as humanity. What we are discussing constantly, what we're always seeing in the headlines, what's moving us as a collective or as humans. So if Aquarius rules all that poly and all the alternative relationships and genders and all that stuff, what do you think we're going to see an even bigger, huge wave of while it's in Aquarius? More of that. Okay? More of that. But back to the original point that I wanted to make, which is the eclipse in Libra. What is it? You think of King, you think Scorpio. Scorpio, yes, is definitely about that. But people being open to trying a lot of things and putting a label on, like saying my kinks are defined by me being a this or a that, like a dom or I don't know. Foot kinks are Pisces. Yes, they are. Yes, ma'am, you know your stuff. I like it. But yes, the eclipse in Libra, it's like the masculine and feminine roles conversation keeps coming up. What do we do? What do we do to balance things out between us? Because we're fighting. The girls and the guys, we're fighting. We're always constantly fighting. The guys are pointing at all of us and saying, you guys are all selling your asses on OnlyFans and you're not worth anything if you dress this way or that way. And so why should we do anything for you? How come you can't do it yourself? I thought you guys wanted equality. I thought that you're independent. So now they're challenging women. Men are challenging women on all that Pluto and Libra stuff. Okay, I don't need a man. Somebody find that Pussycat Doll. So I know it exists. Okay, I just don't know the lyrics. But yeah, I'm a survivor. Well, that song isn't really. No, the Independent Woman. And then Neo is a Libra. Okay, he's a proud Libra. He named his album Libra Scales. Miss Independent. He's always talking about Miss Independent. That's why he loves her, because he's a Libra. He likes to be able to kick back and not have to do a bunch of masculine shit. So Miss Independent can take care of herself and he barely has to do man stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's like the Pluto and Libra generation that's what we brought to the adult world in amongst humans. So what do we do to balance it out again? Because let me tell you this as well. All of the girls now, we are in our soft girl eras and femininity journeys and all of that stuff. Like, hello, look at my shirt. I'm literally just a girl. Yes, including your homegirl right here. I am definitely in my pink era, feminine journey, femininity journey, and all of that stuff. Yes, right along with everyone else. Why are all the girls all about this right now? All of a sudden, you guys just, oh, now you guys want to be women? All of a sudden. It's because the outer planets move and shift humanity and make the biggest impacts on us, make the biggest marks in history as human beings of what we're doing, what we're talking about, fashion, dating, everything is the outer planets. Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn can have an impact as well, but its transit is only 2.5 years. The other ones are like 14 years, 20 years, 8 years. So we can really see the evidence of their movements impacting us a little bit better, you know, because they last longer. So because of that, right now, Uranus has been in Taurus, a feminine sign. It's ruled by Venus, the ultimate feminine planet, well, one of them, since 2018. We have Neptune in Pisces. It's been there since 2011 or 2012. We also have Pluto that has been in Capricorn, which even though it rules drill sergeant, militant daddy, mean motherfucker who's taking charge energy, it's still of the earth element, which is feminine energy, because it rules cultivating things. It rules like finance and business and all of that, which is, yeah, in our world, in our Western world, that's seen as masculine. But it's what, like, the earth energy is what holds us down in life, what anchors us down in life and lets us flourish and cultivate, right? So it's still of the feminine element. So we have all of those. Well, Pluto is in Aquarius barely right now, but it's finishing up in Capricorn this year, so I'm still counting it as now. But we've had them all together in feminine signs, all three of them in feminine signs since 2018. So have you noticed since 2018, all the girls are soft glam, self-care, femininity journey. All the girls, we're getting back acquainted with what it really means to be feminine. That's why, is because the outer planets are strumming us and teaching us. And like I said, I can only speak for the Western world girlies over here in the US, but we started watching YouTube. Girls are sharing all these tips of how to do your makeup, how to take care of your feminine hygiene, and how to do this and that a lot of us girls did not have the guidance on growing up. Realistically, a lot of us didn't have it. Why? Because a lot of our parents were results of like the Pluto and Virgo generation, which was all about working hard, including the women, getting out into the workplace. That was like everything for the Pluto and Virgo generation, and the Pluto and Libra generation. Either we grew up in it, we were born in it, or we were raised by people in the Pluto and Libra generation, which is not the tradition. It's like divorce and, you know, co-parenting and all that stuff. But we still had working mothers, a lot of us. So they didn't really teach us a lot of the feminine stuff. Now we're like teaching each other through the internet and everything. And we're like, hey, wait a second. We're really learning what it really means to be feminine. So because the outer planets are moving us in that direction, that's what we're doing. But what is all of that doing for men? It's also making men discover and get in tune with more of their feminine sides as well, which can be great, but at the same time, listen, this is coming from someone who is feminine. I'm Venus ruled many times over in my chart. I do have a masculine edge to me because I have the Sun and Mars conjoined, and Mars is one of my ascendant rulers, and so is Pluto, and those are kind of rough planets. Okay, and I was mostly raised by a man. I had both parents in the same home, but the masculine entity was the main one who was more present for me and taught me things. So but I'm still very feminine in my chart. Okay, here's the thing. My advice, if I could give advice, would be for men to, yes, get in tune with your emotions, your emotional side. Neptune in Pisces is a feminine energy, and Neptune in Pisces rules like mental health and stuff like that. So a lot of men are recognizing that their mental health is important. They are going to therapy now and things like that. Their emotions, a lot of them are cool with expressing them. That's cool and everything. But I think because of the overabundance of feminine energy in the sky right now, a lot of men are just going off the deep end with the shit and becoming more feminine, like overly feminine, to where they are not proactive. They are, what about me? They're damsel in distress. They're victims. How come you don't chase me? All of that stuff, right? That's going overboard. That's the scales being imbalanced in that direction. They're a little off, okay? So this is definitely tying into the eclipse in Libra. The scales are off. Women, we are becoming balanced and more femme and soft, and we do want chivalry again. We do want men to be proactive and to say things like, this is a discussion, real life discussion that we women have amongst each other, me and close women to me, and also me and girlfriends online. Men just saying things like, I don't know, what do you want to do? When am I gonna see you? Stuff like that, where you're putting things in the woman's hands and on their plate and making them exhaust their feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, hey woman, Friday night, 8 o'clock, meet me at this place and wear this. They're not doing that right now. They're, I don't know, what do you want to do? When can I see? I'm trying to, if only I can just record the conversations that the girls and I really have. It's ridiculous. It's an epidemic. And it is because of all the feminine energy in the sky. What men should be doing, in my humble opinion, as an astrologer and someone who reads energies in humans all the time, is use this energy to understand your own, feminine elements of yourself, and be about self-care and mental, mental health and everything. But to understand women, instead of fighting against us, use this energy to understand women and our femininity, instead of giving us these rebuttals of, well, I thought you wanted equality, and I thought you were so independent. A lot of us were forced to be independent because when we had Pluto in Libra, the last time it was in an air sign, and also when we had Neptune in Sagittarius rules abandonment. Sag people will just up and gallop off into the fucking forest of life somewhere, not even with not a trace, not a goodbye, not a hey, this is what I'm doing. They disappear. So there were a lot of disappearing parents during the 70s and the early to mid 80s. Uranus went into Sag as well in the 80s. So a lot of us, that's what we've experienced or grew up within, or maybe were raised by. So yeah, it's like a lot of women, as a result of that the family dynamics were destroyed by Pluto and Libra. So if we're left to fend for ourselves and we're left to get out in the workplace because the men abandoned the family unit, what the fuck else are we supposed to do? Are we just supposed to lay on the ground in our dresses and roll around dramatically and just die or something? Or are we going to get our asses out there and get jobs and work and go to school and become powerful enough on our own to actually live and breathe and afford to do so? What else were we supposed to do? When these ninjas were beating us, abandoning us, leaving us with nothing, what the fuck else were we supposed to do? Can somebody answer that? So the natural order of things, where men are providing and women are providing what we provide naturally, from femininity, it was just thrown off. So how do we get that back in balance? Women, we're doing what we need to do. We're getting in tune with, you know, what it really means to be feminine and relaxed and soft and submissive. Not like we're something that a man owns, submissive. Not like that, where you can beat us and we're just gonna be there in silence and take all your shit. Not like that, but I mean like, you know, the right kind of submissive. Like, we trust a man to lead us, so we just say, sir, yes, sir. You know, like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I'll follow your lead. What can we do to get back in the balance? To me, I feel like once all the outer planets start shifting into masculine signs, we already have Pluto going into Aquarius and staying there for 20 years. That's a masculine sign. We have Neptune headed for Aries next year, which is a masculine fire sign. The ultimate masculine fire sign is Aries. And then we have Uranus going into Gemini, which is a masculine air sign energy, starting in 2025 as well. So I think that that will help men to be on their masculinity journeys. You know, women, we're going to be picking up that energy too. I think we should use it to understand men more and not become raw G.I. Jane or anything like that and throw the shit off again, but understand men and help them on their masculinity journeys to get back in tune with what they're supposed to be doing. And here's a tool that can help: learning astrology. Why? Because astrology is not just, I'm a Leo, am I compatible with a Capricorn? That's some bullshit. That is not what it is. Okay? It's not all that it is. And because of that, people tie it into relationships. Relationships are ruled by Venus, which is feminine energy. So that's why a lot of men side-eye astrology and say it's a chick thing. So it's not. It's a tool for, it doesn't matter what gender you identify with or what energy you identify with. It's not just a feminine thing. It is a tool that involves mathematics and psychology and sociology, so many ologies, even biology, like how our bodies work, what ailments we may be more prone to. Astrology shows all of that. So it is actually a very intelligent tool to have. It's not just, and is this sign compatible with this sign? Team Aries, we're the best. That's just, oh my God, that's not what it is. Understanding astrology will help us to understand each other better on so many levels. But getting back to the Libra Eclipse masculine feminine thing, each planet is either masculine or feminine in energy and rules certain things in our worlds. The Sun and Mars, if you notice, they're both planets, or the Sun is a luminary, technically, yes, but it's lumped in with planets in astrology. They are heat, right? They rule heat, fire, and heat are associated with action, being action-oriented. The Sun and Mars represent men and masculine figures in astrology. If you look at someone's chart, you can see the nature of their father by looking at the Sun and Mars. What signs their father likely has in his chart, how he was, how he is, whatever. It's masculine energy. It's action oriented, okay? Mars is associated with the root chakra, and the Sun is the sacral. Those are about survival. And no, not the sacral, I'm sorry, the solar plexus, which is like confidence, right? Exuding confidence, which masculine energy is supposed to do in order to achieve and accomplish things and get opportunities and get things done and climb the ladder and all of that. The root is survival, like hunters with a spear and shit like that. That's Mars. That's the root. Those are masculine chakras. So when women have to be in survival mode, when we're career women, we have to be, because there's no man that wants to do anything to support us. We have to be in our solar plexus chakra, chest out, and, you know, not like boobs chest out, but I mean like in a masculine way, chest out, head up, and be all about success and all of that, right? And then the root chakra is like your basic needs, food and shelter, and can I afford to fucking breathe? That is the root chakra. That's masculine. So when women are left alone to fend for ourselves, that's what we tap into. That's our energy. That's how it comes off. Women are too masculine now, bitch, because who else is going to pay the bills? Are we supposed to, like I said, just lay down and die and, oh, I just can't, and then just what? And then what? And then what? So if nobody else is doing the masculine things in our world, how are they going to get taken care of? So then we are exuding that. What else is there to do to survive as a human? So the sun and Mars, right? The root and the solar plexus, masculine, okay? Action. What do you want to do? I don't know. Bitch, no, that is not your role. If you are a masculine being, no, it's not. I don't know. What do you want to do? Hit me up sometime. No. You're the hunter-gatherer, root chakra, and solar plexus. That is you, the sun and Mars, period. Then there's the moon and Venus. The moon it pulls the tides of the ocean, which is water, which gives us life on earth, right? It also, in astrology, it shows motherhood, nourishment, pregnancy, and childbirth we see through the moon. A woman's cycles are physically ruled by the moon. The moon takes 28 days to go through the zodiac. Gee, what else in life on earth, you know what I'm saying, has that cycle? Hello, the moon is feminine. Venus is feminine. Venus is like, everything in life that you think is beautiful is Venus. Everything in the physical world that you think is beautiful is ruled by Venus. Flowers are ruled by Venus. Venus rules the five senses. When you look out your window, where I live, I'm super blessed and grateful after living in a total nightmare shithole before this. I'm blessed to look out the window and see a beautiful skyline. You know, our vision, what's in our vision and that we see that we think is beautiful is Venus. Perfume is Venus. You smell perfume, it smells beautiful and divine. The feelings that it gives you, that's Venus. Women are ruled by Venus. Okay, money is ruled by Venus. Everything of values are ruled by Venus. That's all feminine. So when men want to sit here and bitch and complain, how come women want us to pay for that? Because we are ruled by the same planet that rules money. Hello. And I can go so much deeper into that, but I have to dip out in a few minutes. But I understand the gold digger epidemic that has come along with Pluto and Capricorn and with Uranus and Taurus. Those are earth signs, they rule money and all of that, and people are obsessed with all of that stuff. I get it. I get the downside of it. I know there's a lot of women like that out there, but not all of us are. A lot of us are truly more in touch with our feminine energy now. And when we say things like a man, we would like for him to pursue us and also pay for a date, it's not always a gold digger thing. And it's so we can, and what do you bring to the table, bitch? Listen, I'm trying to be nice and cute because I am in pink and like in my pink era and all of that, but it is very frustrating. So I'm just keeping it real. It's a little bit of my Mars is still showing, still poking out there, but it's, what do we give? We're ruled by Venus. Venus gives you joy. Venus rules all the things that give you joy and pleasure in the physical world. So that doesn't just mean our bodies. That means we bring this feminine essence that is of value, so much of value that what's one of the oldest professions in the world? what is it? Women's bodies, women's feminine essence is so much of value. It, like I said, it's the same planet that rules money and purchasing things and eating something and enjoying it, enjoying the aroma of something and beautiful sights and hearing music and how it makes you feel. Women are tied in with that. We are. So if you like enjoyment, and peace is ruled by Venus. And I know there's a lot of ratchets and all of that. Like, look, we're not talking about them. Just women and value and money and beautiful things and all that. We are all ruled by Venus. Okay? And every girl's on OnlyFans and no, we're not. No, we're not. So now all these dudes are out here running around paranoid and scared that every woman that puts on makeup, dresses cute, maybe even shows a little skin, and she's just really in her femininity. Like I said, Venus rules flowers. Do flowers bloom hoping to get picked, or do they just simply bloom? Do they just simply bloom and sit there looking pretty? That is Venus. That is what women are ruled by as well. We want to look pretty just simply because that's our nature. We want to smell good. We want to be clean and look good and everything. I'm talking about just women who are really just in their femininity. Let's not talk about the ratchets and the whatever. We're not. Even the ratchet women that you're talking about, do they go to the hair salon or do they get their nails done? Oh my God, like they do that mostly because it's in our nature to beautify ourselves and to be a blooming flower, just because that's what we do. It makes us feel good. That's it. It makes us feel good and like we are really just in our nature. That's it. That's it. It's not always to do with finding some man. So now all of us that make an effort with our appearance to just be a blooming flower, we are all on OnlyFans. We must be on OnlyFans. We must be selling our body. Oh, we're automatically a gold digger, or oh, we automatically are just out here with our legs open wide, like come on through. Oh, like, you know, no, that's not the case. We have been moved by the outer planets being all in feminine signs for years now to embrace our true essence and nature and just bloom as women, as flowers, and to know that we are of value. You know how back in the day, I'm pretty sure I've told on some live streams the very painful story of one of my previous lifetimes that I discovered a lot about, and in recent years, to where I was in, I don't know, some other century. I was a woman. I lived in one of the East Asian, like around India or something, nations. And you know how they have traditions of like arranged marriages and stuff like that. So I was in a family to where they were more concerned with wealth and status and everything. And you know how in a lot of cultures that still goes on today, but you know, it was more in other centuries that it was like really a thing in some areas where their daughters, if you had daughters, it was like, okay, good, we have daughters, so we can find men who are of status, or young men or whatever who are of status and wealth and everything, and marry our daughters to them, so our families can like exchange or share wealth in whatever ways or whatever. They have more oxen than we do and acres of land or whatever. So like our daughter, in exchange for that, the daughters, the women were valuable. They were of value and they could bring more value by that way. So I lived in a country, in a time, in a previous lifetime, where that was very prominent. And it's like they don't want you to marry for love, right? It's all about the money and everything else. So, but I fell in love. I had a guy who was like my best friend, and we fell in love. We were just really, truly in this divine love with each other. But he was poor. His family was poor. And so my family, especially my father in that time, was like, you're not going to marry. Like, you know, I'm sure he's a nice boy. I know his family and everything. They may be good people with good values, but they don't have, yes, Zay, twin flame, yes. But his family didn't have the wealth or whatever that could be married together with my family so they could climb up. So we ended up having a child together out of wedlock, which is a huge no-no, but we were both so in love. It's like, we were like, why can't we just be in love and be together and get married and have our little family and stuff? Why does it have to be about money? But my father at the time said, nope. He sent our child away, and said I could not, you know, he made me marry somebody else that I feel like was older. This was all revealed to me through like visions, but also tarot readings that I did for myself, and also I had another tarot reader just really confirm more details. So I had to marry some guy because of what he had. And it left me, I just had to soldier on and just go through the marriage. And like, you know how in those arranged marriages and stuff, they say, well, you'll learn to love your husband. So that's what I thought I was supposed to do because it was for the family. It ripped me apart, but I had to put all my emotions aside and just go along with, march ahead. This is for the good of the family or whatever. This is what I'm supposed to do. And my lover didn't realize, he was just like, I don't understand any of this. All I understand is love, like real love, which we have. So it devastated him. It devastated me. Later on in life, it hit me. The only thing I can really envision, that I've really envisioned, one of the major things, not the only thing, is like, I'm in this garb, like this dress, you know, of the time and the region. It was very beautiful in this big home, and I just was walking, I think I was probably later in life, like in my 50s or 60s, and I felt this cold breeze just come through and just hit me, and I stopped, and I felt so lonely. Like, I don't even love my husband. It hit me, I don't even love my husband. I loved that guy, and it hit me and it broke my heart. And I think that was towards the end of my life, in that lifetime. So in this lifetime, I did meet that person again. I'm not gonna get into that whole story with this live stream, but I did meet them again, and there's just so much. I'm probably gonna write a book about it one day. I don't know if he'd really like that, but I'll leave his name out and everything. But it really, you know, my whole point of describing that is, so on a soul level, I understand how women are of value. Like, we were even traded for things, you know what I mean? Like, did people trade their sons for stuff? I don't know. Maybe in some cultures and places they did. Educate me if I don't know. But I just know of the women, like, you know, the daughters. It was important for them to marry someone who had wealth to bring more wealth to the family and stuff. So my point of that is, Venus rules women, and it rules the material world, period. So when we women who are not a ratchet gold digger or whatever are asking men to be action oriented and to relieve us of masculine things, so we're not coming out of our masculine chakras and feeling drained because of it, because it's outside of our true nature, it's because that is going to balance out the union. It's not with ill intent. It's not just to collect free meals and live off of using men. So not every woman's like that, and not every woman that wears makeup and dresses cute, okay, and all of that is selling her body and with her legs open everywhere. I really wish men will just get that bullshit out of their heads right now, because I know of a few great women, including myself, I'm gonna have a little big head moment. I'm sorry. My 5th house is activated right now. Few great women, including myself, who are always, we're like out here just kind of floating, man. Like, we're out here floating. Like, what's going on? Why we don't even, it's not like, oh, I don't ask for much. It's like we feel like we're asking for regular things and men are running away from that. And it's not, oh, you just chose wrong. No, there's really an epidemic right now, a wave because of all the outer planets being in feminine signs. Men are less action oriented and less in tune with their Sun and Mars natures of pursuing and hunting and all of that. Laziness and complacency, man. And I know a lot of men were raised by parents who were from the Pluto and Virgo or Pluto and Libra generation, or they may be from those generations themselves. At least the Pluto and Libra are still, but to where they didn't have a father around. They didn't have a strong masculine figure to show them, like, men are action oriented. Men are ruled by Mars, which is urgency and, acting upon emergency and urgency and all of that, and chasing and hunting. A lot of men, it's not their fault that they didn't have that, but it's like, I feel like this eclipse is asking when and how and how do we get the balance back? How do we get the balance back? We girls, we're like, okay, we understand the assignment now with being feminine. We have the resources now. The outer planets are working with us, and we have our resources. We talk amongst each other. We have the freedom to do a lot of things and learn about things and explore things, to really explore femininity. And okay, I understand it now. Now we're looking at the men like, it's your turn. And they're like, what? Why should I have to do that? I don't want to, oh God, you're going to make me do what? Oh, why should I do that? She should chase you, king. You're the prize. So let's hope for the next, let's say the last half of this decade of the 2020s, for the outer planets shifting into masculine signs, for men to be on their little masculine era journeys. Like, we women have been on our feminine ones the last 6 years or so, really heavy. And that they learn by speaking amongst each other and having better leaders than some of the dumbasses they've been following on podcasts and stuff, who are not really leaders. They're your peers that are just dumb and have a microphone in front of them. That's it. Have better leaders that really understand Sun and Mars and root chakra and sacral chakra energies, to teach them, yes, you're a hunter-gatherer, you're a pursuer, you're about action, not sitting around waiting for a woman to talk to you. All you want to do is stare at her. You just stare at her and you expect her to, you don't say anything and you expect her to come to you. That is just some bullshit. The scales are so imbalanced. That's not, and now we women are supercharged. We got the Super Mario mushroom when it comes to femininity, and we powered up, you know what I mean? And now the dudes are like, pull up. What? Why should I take you on a date? Pull up. Why should I pay for anything? So we're very confused. Like, I thought you were the Sun and Mars. I thought you were where's your tools? Where's your spear? Where's your, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the plan? Where's the meet me here this time, this day, and all of that? Where's that? Where is that at? I'm just going to say this. I've had the experience of a gentleman who would do things that I'm like, wow, this is, I mean, I didn't really get that close to him to know what else he was about, you know, with his masculinity. But when I was around him, he did things like, I would be carrying something, and if he saw me in even the least bit of a struggle, or even sometimes when I didn't struggle, he would just take what I was carrying out of my hand. Not in a demanding way or an asshole way or anything. It was just like, he would just take things out of my hand. And he was very protective over me. And it was like, wow, anytime I knew I was going to be around him, I just naturally felt like wearing dresses. And anything he would say, like, hey, wait for me, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay. And then he would come back and be like, oh, I'm not demanding anything out of you. I hope you don't. And I'm just like, no. Stop right there. You don't need to say anything. Because the way that you take things literally off of my hands, and you're protective over me, you're looking out for me, making sure no weirdos are bothering me and stuff like that, and just other little things, it just naturally makes me feel the right kind of submissive, to where almost anything, I say almost anything that you say, I just naturally follow your lead. I don't contest. What do you mean? I'm gonna go off and do this because I should be able to do my. No, I didn't feel like, dude, I didn't say any of that. Anything he said, any advice he gave, I just was naturally, I didn't stop and think like, hell no. It was just a flow. Okay? Hey, you know, this day, this time, this place, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, yes. Okay, I already know what to wear. I'm going to wear a dress. I'm going to wear something that makes me really feel extra feminine. And he would always compliment me too on what I was wearing. So he had that too. And he's an amazing, awesome man. And a great example, at least with those little things that I saw. I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know the rest of him that deeply just yet. But I was just amazed at how I reacted naturally to him because of just those little masculine qualities that he displayed. Like, we didn't have to stop and I mean, he tried to correct himself one time, like, oh, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I was just like, no, trust me, it's cool. In my head, I was just like, daddy, tell me what to do. Girls, you know what I'm talking about? Nothing dirty, but I'm just saying naturally, it was just like, yes, sir, you know? And I'm like, wait, who am I? No, when I would go home, I'd be like, wait, who am I? Really? And I'd be like, oh, I know I'm going to see so-and-so later. What am I going to wear? This dress and this dress. I'm like, wait, dresses? I'm like a hip-hop kid, jeans and sneakers girl, you know? But all of a sudden, I just feel comfortable and safe enough to wear a dress around him because I know he's protective over me. And he's going to compliment me and like what I'm wearing. It was just natural. So that felt really good as a feminine woman who is really coming into her femininity right now under Neptune in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, and Pluto in Capricorn. All feminine energies moving us women more towards our sacral chakras, the place where our womb is at, where creativity and our hips are, which is why a lot of different cultures have dances that are very hips and midsection oriented for women. That's our sacral chakra. It glows. And I could literally, when I was around that particular man, I swear to you, I kid you not, I would feel my sacral chakra just light up. If you're really in tune with yourself in that way, you can feel certain chakras. Just like when you're depressed, you can feel your heart chakras, you know, heavy and everything, right? My sacral chakra would just light up. Even seeing the man's picture, that was it. I would just light up and beam like that because of how those masculine qualities he displayed. It was just naturally like that. So once men get on their masculinity journeys and understand their roles with the sun and Mars, understand you're ruled by the sun and Mars in astrology. Go study it. Don't just take it from me and then type a rebuttal. What about OnlyFans and gold diggers? No, shut the fuck up and go read about what does the sun rule and what does Mars rule in astrology. Then go look up your own chart cafeastrology.com has a free one, and it's verbal. It's like written and typed out. See what sign Mars is in your chart. See what sign the sun is in your chart. Read up on those to see what's in your nature as far as exuding your masculinity, and how can you like really do it to your best potential or abilities or whatever. The sun and Mars rule men. Venus and the moon rule women. Passive energy is feminine. Action-oriented energy is masculine. I don't make these things up. This is human nature. These are like spiritual principles, but just human nature principles. They got thrown off really badly the last time we had Pluto in an air sign. I don't really know exactly what Pluto in Aquarius is going to do to it. I'm hoping with Neptune and Aries being there at the same time, that men, because Neptune is what we are fascinated and intrigued by, and fantasy and all of that stuff. But just like how Neptune and Pisces brought makeup out more for women, makeup artists and wearing makeup, and spirituality and astrology being more, out there and accessible and everything, and popular and trending. More masculine things are going to be that in that place when Neptune goes into Aries starting next year. And so I'm hoping for men, they get more fascinated by things like hunting and building things, and like, because that's what Aries is. It's the basic caveman principles are Aries, right? So and protecting and building a fire with sticks and shit. I don't know. We shall see. But we women are hoping, we're rooting. Those of us that really want things to balance out, we really want to get along with men. We really want to just have that natural flow of masculine and feminine energy between us, and not this frustrating struggle that we're all venting about on social media all the time, about why can't you guys just simply make a fucking date? Okay, like, we're tired. I'm hoping that things will change the last half of this decade, but we shall see. We shall see. All right, you guys, I got to dip out. Thanks for coming to my little talk. If you listened, I know that there's some comments, but I was really just, I'm going to actually post this. So I was just trying to get everything out for those who listen to the replay, but somebody was typing a lot of stuff. My bad. Let's see. Arcane Night. Old energies exit for new ones to enter. Age of Aquarius. You're a Gemini, Sun, Libra, Moon, Aquarius, rising. Oh, triple air. Wow. Yeah. Females being leaders because they're stepping into their, yeah. Men are still suppressing their feminine energy, so the masculine energy being polarized, so the arguments are being had more and more. Wow, that's an interesting point. Females are being more empowering to each other, while men are still opposing each other, opposing the rise of feminine energies, both in women and the masculine self. Yeah, we do see that a lot, especially on social media. But yeah, emotional intelligence or feminine energy from a male is necessary for a male's development. Wow. Interesting. Thanks for making that point. I think so too. Women are becoming more balanced. Men are lost and confused. Yeah, because it's like a lot of them, feminine energy is like foreign to a lot of men. Excuse me. And they'll call each other all kinds of nicknames and say that they're sus, and stuff like that. So yeah, you see it's a time where men have to accept women as leaders without feeling like their egos bruised. Yeah, men still are leaders as well, but have to accept there's a co-leadership. When we learn to have an understanding of the universal laws that govern us, we will be so much further along as men. Okay. You think it's an acceptance of emotional energy, and many men are opposing this energy because they do not know how to integrate the yin and yang energies. Yeah. So it's confusing, and it puts a man in a fight or flight situation. Well, thank you so much. All right, you guys. Well, I'm about to dip out. Deuces.